Hi guys, it's Mrs. Woods. We're going to start our new book called Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. Yesterday you learned a little bit about foreshadowing and you read the prologue, and you should have completed an assignment with that. So chapter 1 vocabulary. Bovine is a member of the cattle family such as a cow, buffalo, or bison. Forlorn means sad and lonely. Immense is huge or large. It's an immense tree. It's a good example. Contemplation, deep thought, reflecting on something. Oppressive, unbearable and uncomfortable. Usually like it's an oppressive feeling. Meager is a small amount, a tiny amount. All right, so you're going to read chapter 1. We have the audio included here and the module, so go ahead and listen to that. So in the book, they talk about the woods, and here's a quote. But the wood had a sleeping, otherworld appearance that made you want to speak in whispers. So it was a wood that she didn't go in very often because it was otherworld. It had kind of a scary appearance to it. On page 8, it says, and that would have been a disaster so immense that this weary old earth, owned or not, to its fiery core, would have trembled on its axis like a beetle on a pin. I'll have to fix that spelling error. So back in the day, so we're dealing with like the early 1900s, people did a lot of bug collections, and when they collected bugs, they would pin them to an insect board. So like over here, we have a grasshopper, and it is pinned to a board right there. So, and they're dead. They can't go anywhere. And then here is a picture of the Earth. From science class, you might have learned that we are on an axis, which goes to the center, kind of like a pin through the Earth, and we rotate at a slight angle. And if anything ever changed in that rotation, chaos would happen in the world. All right, so you've finished chapter 1. Let's have a discussion question. The author described the Foster's cottage as touch me not. What do you think that means? Do you think it's something that that says, welcome, come on in, sit here, have a cup of tea with me? Or is it more like, beware, go away, don't come in here? Okay, so chapter 2. We have some more vocabulary. This book has a lot of vocabulary in it. Melancholy, expression of sadness or depression of mind or spirit. They had a very melancholy face on today. Rueful, in a way that expresses sorrow or regret, especially in a wry or humorous manner. Brooch, an ornament fastened to clothing with a hinge, pin, and catch. So I have a picture here of a lady that maybe was early 1900s, late 1800s, like we are in our book. And right here is a brooch. So it's a pin that goes at the very top of the neckline right there. And then it was a sign of wealth, and it was jewelry. So, you know, ladies like their jewelry, and that's what they would put on their dresses. They'd have one there, or they'd have one over off to the side, kind of like this lady has. But they were usually passed down from family member to family member and was a treasured item. Go ahead and read chapter 2. Okay, so in chapter 2, we learn about May Tuck. So here's a picture of May Tuck from the movie. So there's a movie. We're not going to watch it, but this is kind of a description of that. So she had 3 petticoats. This is a petticoat here. She had 3 of those layered on top of each other. A rusty brown skirt with enormous pocket, so she could fit all sorts of things in it. Old cotton jacket, a knitted shawl, and a tarnished metal brooch. So she was not exactly one that was showing a lot of wealth, and her clothing was very worn and old. All right, so what special item did May Tuck take with her on the way to visit her sons? Why did she take it with her? All right, chapter 3. Vocabulary. Grimace, a facial expression that is one of displeasure. Exasperated, irritated, and frustrated. Heave, to lift with force and often with loud grunts. So you heave ho, you shove off your anchor and the boat goes out to sea. That's what I think of when I hear heave. All right, so read chapter 3. Okay, so we got a toad. We talk a lot about a frog. Winnie tells her troubles to a toad. Winnie thought she might like to keep a pet, but changes her mind. What did she realize? What made her change her mind about having a pet? All right, another question. Winnie told the toad she was going to run away in the morning. Do you think Winnie will follow through with this? Why or why not? So she told her friend that she's going to run away in the morning. Do you think she'll actually do it? And why? All right, well, that concludes chapters 1 through 3. Make sure that you have read it and listened to the audio and finish the discussion questions link below.